All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be breaking down a top 10 list of the most powerful cards in the One Piece TCG. Okay, so without any further ado, we're going to be getting straight into today's video. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and if you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comments section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link is in the channel description. Now, the first thing I do want to mention before we really dive into this, guys, is this was a community project that we had last night on stream. So, guys, if you're not aware, if you're a newer member to the channel, or if you're just new to the One Piece card game, I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern to 12 a.m. here on YouTube. So be sure to stop by and check that out if you get a chance. Every now and then we do something fun like this. So we're doing a top 10 most powerful card list. Okay, well, how are we going to determine that? Did I just pick all these cards? The answer is no. It was a big community project we had where we were using the voting system that's implemented in the chat for live streams on YouTube. So we were doing voting on all these cards, moving cards up and down with a ranking system to see who would be the number one, well, really the top 10 most powerful cards in the game. All right, so that's the first thing I want to mention. The second thing is, do understand that this is meant to be more of a lighthearted, fun type of list here, and more of a community project type of thing. Again, this is not just my pick. This was all voted on in the stream, in the live stream. Okay, that's number two. Number three, a little bit of rules real quick. No leaders are going to be in here. It's just cards within the game, and no banned cards are allowed, or cards EB02 or after that. So no EB02, no OP11. This is OP10 West cards only. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. I think I covered all my bases here. We did try to be fair to all the colors, so we try to represent that as best as we can in this video. And the very first part we go over here is going to be a top 10 list going backwards, right? Number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? But then after that, we have the runner-up for each color, and for other, you'll see when we get there, we have all the different cards that a lot of people are probably going to think should have made the list, but remember, because it was voting, it is what it is, guys. It was, the people have spoken, and what they voted for, that's what I put on the list. Okay, now, with that in mind, let's hop into this. Be sure, one more thing I should mention, what I suggest you do real quick is pause the video, and see if your top 10 list is the same as ours. Okay, do like a, 1 through 10, put the cards in there in the way that you think they should be, and then see how your list matches up to what we came up with as a community on last night's stream. Okay, now let's do this. First up, number 10. We will be going 10 and then backwards down to 1. Okay, number 10, Uso Hachi. That's right. We got number 10 is Purple 2K Counter Straw Hat Crew Uso Hachi. This is from Starter Deck 18. This is a very powerful card in the game currently. So powerful, in fact, that it made the top 10 list, guys, okay? And it has an on-play effect that says if you have 8 or more Dawn cards on your field, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. For the newer players out there, you might be thinking that card doesn't seem very strong. And it's not at first glance. It's really not. But just considering the utility of it and being able to tap down these characters in the late game, it's actually a very, very powerful card. Okay, I'm going to try to work through this list pretty quickly so we're not lollygagging too much on one card. Next up, number 9, Charlotte Lin Lin. Okay, this is one of my favorite cards within all of the purple. This is probably my favorite purple card, to be honest, guys. Really, really powerful. It's a 9-cost character, 9,000 power, and it has an on-play Dawn -1 effect to trash 1 card from your hand and then add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life card, so you'll gain a life, right? Then you add up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less to the top or bottom of their life area, face up. So it's one of those cards. It's a large, it's a very large character in the game, 9,000 power. It has a cost of 9, so it's very hard to deal with. It comes into play. It has immediate impact. It removes one of your opponent's characters, and you gain a life in the process. Really, really powerful card. This one should really not be a surprise. Okay, next up, number 8. Monkey D. Luffy. Now, this is from ST21. ST21 Luffy, this is a pretty new card. ST21, for those who are not aware, it came out around the same time as OP10 for us over here in the West. So this is a 5-cost, 6,000 power character with Rush, and it has when attacking, give up to one of your rested Dawn cards to your leader or one of your characters. Again, this might seem like it's not that great when you first look at it, right? Like, well, it's just a 5 cost 6K with Rush, but no, it's actually more than that. And it's not even just a 5 cost 7K with Rush. It's a 5 cost 6K with Rush that can allow you to move Dawn around to do tricks with later in the turn. Because certain effects in this game, especially red cards, they have these Dawn ×1 or Dawn ×2 effects where you have to have a certain amount of Dawn attached to your character or leader to attack in and do something special or activate main or whatever. Well, with this card here, it allows you to stay aggressive and still use some of the effects that are really dominant in the red card pool. Very powerful new card. You're seeing this a lot all over the place. Next up is Ben Beckman. At number 7, we have Ben Beckman. This is a 7 cost, 7,000 power, 1,000 counter character with an on-play, excuse me, with an on-play effect of trash, not KO. It's a special form of removal that trashes up to one of your opponent's characters with 6,000 power or less. And again, I know it's you can't see where because I have the number at the top left corner. I'll be sure to say every single cost for each one of these cards. This is a 7 cost card with 7,000 power and a 1K counter and removal built in. It's just one of those cards. You're never upset to see it. Whether you see it from the top of your life, it's a 1K counter. Whether you have it in your hand, it's a 1K counter. When you play it down, it gets rid of a character, has immediate impact, and then it also is a 7 cost, 7,000 power body afterwards. It's going to stick around more than likely unless your opponent is packing some serious removal. Really powerful card. No surprise to see this one on the list. Next up at number 6, Red Rock. Red Rock. Very, very powerful effect here. Now this, for those, this is a 6 cost character. It's interesting how, excuse me, we did not plan this. This is a 6 cost event here. And then for the last card we went over for number 7, that was a 7 cost character. Even though it was blocking out the top left corner there, that was just total chance. And even the 9 cost card that we had, that was the number 9 pick. That was just pure coincidence. But this is a 6 cost event here, and it is a main. Place up to 1 character at the bottom of the owner's deck. This is hard removal in the game of One Piece. It even has a very strong trigger that happens if your opponent attacks you. You take life. You can use the trigger effect for free, and it says place up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. That trigger effect has won many games, guys. And then just playing this event out. 4/6 Dawn, removing any character in the game. And again, this is another form of special removal like what we saw with Ben Beckman. This is a place up to 1 character at the bottom of the owner's deck. So if your opponent has any kind of on KO effects, it will not trigger them. This puts that at the bottom of the deck, and it is out of your way, and it doesn't care how big or small the character is. For 6 Dawn, you're just removing anything in the game. Very, very powerful card. This came out all the way back in OP04, and it has been strong for a long time. Okay, next up. Now we're breaking into the top 5, guys. We're breaking into the top 5. Charlotte Pudding. Yep, this might be a very big surprise to some people, especially the placing. Maybe it should have been somewhere on the top 10, but top 5, that must mean it's very strong, right? Well, yes, it is. This is a 4 cost, 4,000 power character with a 1K counter, and it has on play, your opponent returns all cards in their hand to their deck, and they shuffle their deck. Then your opponent draws 5 new cards. Okay, so understand what that means. If you have 10 cards in your hand, there's no hand, for those who are not aware, for the newer players, there is no hand limit, there is no hand size in the One Piece trading card game. Okay, so at least not currently at the time you're recording this, who knows in the future. But imagine you have 10 cards in your hand, which is not unrealistic in this game, depending on the deck you're playing. Imagine you have anywhere from 7 to 10 cards in your hand, and they play this card out. Well, as soon as it hits the field, the on-play effect starts happening, and you have to take your hand, shuffle it into your deck, and draw 5 new cards. Not 7, not 10, 5 new cards. This card is very powerful. It has extremely high utility. You can run this in pretty much any blue deck, and it's always going to have some type of value for you. And then the stat line on this character being it is a 4 cost, 4,000 power character. It's really not that bad in any way, shape, or form, and it's just a very strong card. Strong enough to be number 5 on the list. Okay, now next up we got number 4. Eustace Kid. Okay, some people might be thinking, wait a minute, if this card's number 4, then what's 3, 2, and 1? Well, hang on, we'll get there, right? We'll get there. Eustace Captain Kidd. This is a card that came out all the way back in OP01, guys. All the way back in OP01. This is an 8 cost, 8,000 power character. It has 2 different effects on it. Dawn ×1 on your opponent's turn. If this character is rested, your opponent cannot attack any card other than the character named Eustace Captain Kidd. Okay, so very, very powerful effect there. It forces your opponent to attack into this character. And the average power on a leader right now is 5,000. Okay, well, this is an 8,000 power character, and if they're forced to attack into this character, it's almost like you have an 8,000 power leader. Very, very powerful effect here, and it has a second one as well, an additional effect. Activate main once per turn. You may rest this character and play up to one character card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. Another very powerful effect, you're playing this card out for 8, and then you're resting this character down to play out another character that costs 3 or less. It might be a blocker, it might be some form of protection to your board, some type of evasion effect like TCG or Rosinante. And then, now that your character is sideways, you attach a Dawn right away, and now they have to attack this character. Very, very powerful character here. And again, this came out all the way back in OP01, and it is still a very strong character relevant in the game today. Okay, next up, now we're breaking into the top 3, guys. We're breaking into the top 3. Hody Jones. Hody Jones is a 7-cost, 8,000 power character with Rush. Okay, it has Rush. 7 cost, 8,000 power, and it has Rush. So that's already very powerful in any combination of colors. But here's the thing. It has another effect that takes it to the next level. On play. So that means when you play this character out, rest up to a total of 2 of your opponent's characters or Dawn cards, okay? Then add 1 card from the top of your life cards to your hand. Now, it seems like that's a pretty steep cost. Like, wait a minute, I'm losing life to play this out just to rest down 2 characters or 2 Dawn? Well, that's actually, sometimes that can seem like a detriment. Sometimes it can be considered a detriment to you. But a lot of times, depending on how you build the list, you might actually want to do that. When you're building a super defensive list behind the last card we looked at, 8 cost Eustace Kid, you actually want to start taking your own life cards at that point so you can start drawing more cards and refilling your hand. Okay? And for those who might be new to the game, Dawn in this game, those are resource cards. So this card right here, when you play it out, it can swing right away because it has Rush, and it can tap down resources or characters. Extremely powerful character here. There's a reason this one is in the top 3. Moving on from there, number 2. My favorite one. This was probably my personal number 1, but like I said, the people voted, the people have spoken. Number 2 on the list, we have Silver's Rayleigh. Silver's Rayleigh is an 8-cost, 8,000 power character. It has an on play. This character has an on play effect that is really, really impactful. It impacts pretty much the entire board every time. It has an on play, select up to 2 of your opponent's characters and give one character minus 3,000 power, and then give another character minus 2,000 power. Okay? So distributing 5,000 powers worth across 2 different bodies, minus 3,000 to one character, minus 2,000 power to another character. Then, and that lasts, that lasts until the end of your opponent's next turn. So the effect lingers even after your turn, going into their turn. Then KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less. Outstanding effect here, guys. Very, very powerful. And this is an 8-cost, 8,000 power character. It's very well statted. It's a very large body, hard to deal with in the game of One Piece. Okay, and then when it comes into play, like I said, it can deal with up to 3 characters at one time. There are situations where you might give minus 3,000 power to one character, minus 2,000 power to another character, and then KO a 3,000 power character over there, right? You know, some other character, not one of the other 2 we just named. So it is a very, very powerful character here that has a lot of value that I can, anytime you can chain these together, it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and the game starts tipping more and more into your favor. Now, who can guess what number 1 is? I'll take a second, pause the video if you have to think about it. What's a really powerful card in the format right now? And I'll give you guys a hint. It's going to be even more powerful going into the next set, okay? And I'll also give you one more hint. I'll give you 2 more hints. It's an event, and it's purple. You guys ready? Number 1. Gum Gum Giant. The number 1 card in the game right now, per the voting on last night's stream, so a community vote, is this 1-cost purple event called Gum Gum Giant. It is a counter with Dawn -2 and trash a card from your hand. Okay, so that is part of the activation cost of this event here. You have to pay 1, and then you have to return 2 Dawn cards to your hand, or excuse me, to your Dawn deck, and then you have to trash 1 card from your hand. But listen to what it does. if your leader has the Straw Hat Crew type, up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 4,000 power during this battle, and then you draw 2 cards. So understand what that means. Okay, for the newer players out there, what is a counter? Well, a counter is something that allows you to protect your leader or your board when your opponent attacks into you. Well, this card, for 1 resource, for a 1 resource investment, you pay the 1, and then you return 2 resources to the resource deck, and then you trash 1 card from your hand. Well, wait a minute, you're losing 2 cards, right? Because you're playing this card out and you're trashing a card? Yes, but look at the bottom. You're going to draw the 2 cards right back. So it ends up not even being a -1. It actually just breaks even, where you stay right at the amount of cards you had when you did this effect, right? When you first played it and trashed the card, you draw 2 cards right back. And then on top of that, you get to give a character or leader plus 4,000 power during the turn. Now, this effect is limited to purple Straw Hat leaders only. You can only run this event in a deck that has a purple in it, of course, and then it has to be a Straw Hat type leader as well. It is a little bit limited. However, it is so powerful that even with its limits, even with its limitations, it still made #1 on the list. Incredible. Now, like I said, I personally would have my guy Rayleigh at #1, but I might be a little bit biased. For those who know me or who've been following the channel for a while, you would know that Rayleigh's like basically my favorite character. Okay, but there you go, guys. That was the top 10. Tell me how you liked it. Tell me how your list matched up to what we got from the community voting. Now, we're not done yet. Hang on, we're not done yet. Now we're going to go over each color individually, and we're going to go over the runner-up honorable mentions from each color, okay, from each color, that did not quite make the top 10 list. And I think some people might be noticing right away, like, wait a minute, there were no black or yellow cards. We'll address that when we get to it. We will address that when we get to it. Okay, first up, we're going to go in order: red, green, blue, purple, black, and yellow. That is the order they are in this game. Okay, first up, these are the red cards that didn't quite make the cut. They didn't quite make it. Dragon, absolutely incredible card. This was probably the closest to breaking in. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the cards that nearly made it into the top 10. It was I think, a battle between Dragon and Usohachi, and Usohachi just barely won that vote. And then after that, it was 10 cost Rush Shanks. I mean, you could probably put the 10 cost Shanks that KOs a 10,000 power or less on there as well. It's somewhere in that category. And then we have the 3 cost, the new 3 cost Sanji. Okay, it looks like Nami. It's a little bit tricky, but that's actually Sanji from the Punk Hazard era, where Sanji, a little bit of a spoiler warning here, but Sanji basically looked like Nami for that era, for that part of the show or whatever. Okay, for the anime. Now, so these are the red cards that almost made it, but did not quite make the top 10 list. Next up are some green cards. I'm sure you know it's going to be front and centered on this one, guys. Okay? Nope, not what you thought, right? That's right. We had Doflamingo. It was really Smoker. I should have had Smoker front and center, but given the way that this all laid out, it just looked too good to not have Doflamingo in the middle. But no, guys, just to go over the voting, I do have it over here. For green, what ended up being the top 5 votes for green before we went into the top 10 vote all around, it was Hody Jones at #1, 8 cost Eustace Kid as #2, Smoker as #3 over Cavendish. That's right. And then Dofi, and then Tashigi. We did push Smoker down because we kind of came to the conclusion where it's like Smoker and Cavendish are basically interchangeable, where it's like if you're running a supernova list, obviously you run the Cavendish, but because it's so specific and there's not really that many supernova leaders out just yet in green, whereas for purple, some people might be thinking that sounds like a double standard, like, wait a minute, the #1 card was restricted to Straw Hat Crew leaders that had to be purple. It's like, yes, but that's purple Luffy, red purple Luffy, soon it will be blue purple and green purple Luffy, purple yellow Nico Robin. There's actually just so many options available that it seemed like you could just run in pretty much any relevant purple deck. Whereas with green, with Cavendish, the thing that actually kind of hurt the case for Cavendish was it's only available right now realistically in a deck like Green Jory Bonnie. So for those who are wondering, it's not saying that Cavendish was not strong, it's just that it was just so restrictive, right? Whereas Smoker, and Smoker can go in, it can literally go in any green deck. Okay, so this was the so like I said, it was Dofi and then Tashigi, with the next serious consideration being Cavendish, and there were 2 other runner-ups I almost put on here. I didn't want to flood the screen, and it was Zoro, 9 cost Zoro, and 9 cost Shanks. They came in very close. They almost made this list. Okay, so that's it for green. Let's move over to, so we did red, we did green, now moving over to blue. Okay, next up is blue. Another one, I think this guy would have probably came in around number 11 or number 12 on the list, somewhere around there. I guess maybe 12 or 13 technically, because, like we said already with Dragon was probably going to be number 11 if I'm not mistaken. However, Jozu would have probably been number 12. This card right here, a lot of people were agreeing with, being a very powerful card. Just to list down what all the voting was for blue. Pudding was number 1, and then followed by Red Rock, followed by Jozu, followed by Gravity Blade, and then Trafalgar Law over there on the far right. Blue had a lot of very good cards, but I think because they're so utility-based, I don't think they really made their way into the top 10 list, other than Red Rock being so universal in Pudding. They can just be used in any deck running blue, and you're going to get maximum amount of advantage from that. But I guess the same thing is kind of true with Jozu and Gravity Blade. The only really restrictive card on here is the 4-cost Trafalgar Law. You do have to have I believe it's a 7 Warlords leader to actually use the full effect of the 4-cost Law's effect. Okay, so there's the blue cards. Now going over to the purple cards. The breakdown for the purple voting went like this. Gum Gum Giant was number 1, of course. Number 2 was Lin Lin. And then number 3 was Usohachi. Number 4 was Sanji, the 7 cost you see on the screen here. And number 5 was Mr. 2, with number 6 at the very end there being Black Maria. Barely did not quite make the list. Okay, it just barely didn't quite make it into the top 5 voting for purple. One thing I do want to say, I don't think I mentioned for red, but just to get it out of the way real quick, red's voting was Rayleigh, Beckman, ST21 Luffy, Dragon, and then 10-cost Shanks. So one thing I do want to mention is the only card that got swapped around when it came to how the top 10 list went is you would expect Usohachi. Or excuse me, no, I'm sorry, I got that wrong, because that's right, Usohachi was number 10, and then Lin Lin was number 9. And that is how we did it, guys. However it landed on the color over here, you couldn't have one of those go above one of the other ones in that color. So, for example, because Lin Lin got number 2, number 1 was Gum Gum Giant, Lin Lin got number 2, and then Usohachi got number 3 in the purple voting. That means Lin Lin had to be above Usohachi when it came to the top 10 list. That's just kind of the rules we had going when we were making the list. Okay, but here's for purple. 7-cost Sanji, extremely powerful card here. 4-cost Bon Carré, and then the 3-cost Black Maria. Outstanding purple cards that just barely didn't quite make the list. Okay, now, moving into black and yellow. Black is up first. Now, these cards, okay, I did have to flood the screen a little bit with this one. I'm going to go right through the rankings here. Number 1 for the black cards was Finger Pistol. That is now basically the best card in black, at least per the community voting that I had last night on the stream. Okay, so Finger Pistol was number 1. Suru was number 2, just an incredible utility 2K counter with cost reduction. Number 3 was Rebecca. Number 4 was Blackbeard, and I do have to put like an asterisk by Blackbeard. Let's just consider that being like Blackbeard plus Burgess plus the Kuzan, and just the whole entire Blackbeard package. It kind of all falls under its own area, its own category. And then number 5 was Jack. And I think if we had a number 6, it probably... Oh, and by the way, the same thing with Rebecca. With Rebecca also came like Lucci and Brooke. So do understand like the whole Spandine, Lucci, and Brooke, and that whole combo. Just kind of imagine that with Rebecca. It's all there. It's just I can only fit so many of these cards on a screen, right? And yeah, and then for number 5 we have Jack on here, and Kaido's right next to him, the 9-cost black Kaido. But here is the consensus, guys. Black and yellow, we're going to talk about yellow in a minute. Black and yellow are probably in pretty much I don't want to say it's like the worst spot for how powerful cards are in the game right now, but there's really, it kind of does seem that way. I will say that now that Gecko Moria is gone. Remember, guys, Gecko Moria was banned, and I can almost guarantee you, if Gecko Moria was still on this list available for voting, I can guarantee you he would at least be in the top 3. I would argue he'd be at number 1, and that changes the dynamics of everything. You know what I mean? But remember, for today's list, no banned cards allowed. All right, so that's black. Now we're going to move over to yellow. We got one more color here, yellow. You're the One Who Should Disappear was number 1 in the voting, followed by number 2, Ace, 10-cost Ace. Number 3 was the 5-cost Nami. Number 4 was Beige, and number 5, 8-cost Katakuri. Incredible cards here. There were a lot of runner-ups for some of these. Like, there's so many different incredible 2K counters you could add to the list. 7-cost Lin Lin, 10-cost Lin Lin, 9-cost Yamato. There were a lot of ones that just barely didn't make it into the yellow voting, but at the same time, we had to narrow it down, and this is what ended up on top. Now, You're the One Who Should Disappear was another one. Remember how I was saying Jozu was probably going to be like number 12 or 13 on the list if we had extended it that far? You're the One Who Should Disappear was probably going to be number 12 or 13 as well. Like whatever one Jozu was not out of 12 and 13, You're the One Who Should Disappear would have been the other one there. It's just one of those cards. It just barely did not squeak its way into the top 10 list, but still a very, very powerful card. And it's kind of a staple in almost every single yellow deck at this point. Okay, well, guys, I think, let me see, I think that's it. Yeah, that was it. I hope y'all enjoyed. Please please don't hesitate to say something in the comment section below. Let's just please keep it nice. Let's please keep it friendly down there. Remember, this was like community voting. If your favorite card wasn't where you thought it should be, or if you thought some cards should move around, please say something in the comment section below. But let's just please keep it nice. Let's please keep it peaceful and be friendly down there. Let's be friendly. Okay, this was a lot of fun. Excuse me. I do plan on doing more stuff like this in the future, more, more lists like this, and getting the community involved by doing the voting. If you want to be a part of something like this, you have to start hopping by the stream whenever you can. Excuse me, guys, my throat's going crazy out of nowhere. But we're going to try to do more of these in the future. We'll have to see what kind of topics we can come up with. Tell me what y'all thought about this in the comment section below. Did you enjoy something like this or not so much? It was very fun last night in the stream. I don't know how people will receive it afterwards, but I had a lot of fun doing this. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to finish it there. Thank you to all the support guys, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, to all the, using my TCG player affiliate link, to all the people who donate and support me, the YouTube members, and the Discord community. Thank you guys so much. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys. Peace.